looking at Caleb at this point, have you seen anything watching some of the clips that are out there that has changed your mindset around Caleb Williams compared to, let's say, a month ago?
No, I think Caleb's been one of the ones that's pretty consistent stock. And really the reason that happened and the reason I think we're having a more informed conversation about him already is because USC started to have the wheels fall off midway through the season when they played Notre Dame. And so we shifted from, Caleb Williams college football playoff talk, Caleb Williams Heisman Trophy talk, because about November that became kind of unrealistic. And all of a sudden people started doing more of the next level analysis once those things had gone by the wayside. As many people in draft Twitter are finding out, the USC offense was not an overly complicated machine that had a ton of options for Caleb when a lot of teams decided to start to blitz him. And so that became an issue. The protection was certainly an issue. And I think because he constantly found himself having to overcome a bad defense on the other side, he developed some bad habits of trying to do too much because he felt like he had to score 14 every play. And so I still think all the same attractive gifts are there. It's just going to be a matter of starting to pull him back a little bit off some of those things where his penchant for wow moments got a little bit overwhelming this year.
A year ago, everybody was just sure that Caleb Williams was going to be the second coming, right? And I think that's fair to say that this year, maybe some of that mindset has changed. But I also think that's a fair thing to happen. Like, the more somebody plays college football, the more tape you get on somebody. The more tape you get on somebody in positives and negatives, the better informed your opinion becomes on them. Like, I see a lot of people saying, yeah, but what about last year with Caleb? And I guess the thing that keeps hitting me, Mike, is last year's opinion about Caleb is allowed to evolve into this year's opinion. So it's okay to acknowledge that while also acknowledging there are reasons for everything that we're seeing.
We also kind of do this every year, too, where every prospect is can't miss when they've got a year of eligibility left. And then once we get to draft season, we start to go through these guys with a fine-tooth comb. And I think the conversation with Caleb is twofold. Is one, Drake May, I thought was always going to be in the conversation with him, but people just flat out ignored him. Even last year when North Carolina was kind of good in a double-digit win team, people just didn't want to have him in the Heisman conversation, anything, because we were so smitten understandably with Caleb Williams. And then Jaden Daniels kind of did the Joe Burrow trajectory at LSU, where he got there as a starter for 1 year. He was kind of okay. And then the next year he supernovaed and won the Heisman. And so you've got this other entrant into the party that now is getting launched up here. And we did that with Michael Penix Jr. for that college football playoff semifinal game before we kind of level set on that. Bo Nix has never really gotten the hype train out of the station yet, but it's early in draft season. So I just think part of it is also we didn't have our eyes trained on some other guys because a lot of people didn't watch North Carolina football because they either just ignore the ACC or because this last season they were underperforming.